Hello students. Today we'll see first assignment of chapter 4. We have mainly 5 questions today and two topics actually. In first topic we have Osted's experiment. We'll see what was the experiment and what did he observe. So that is the very first topic. And then we'll see what is lacking in that thing and what is the importance of Biot-Savart's law, what is the law, and we'll see one application of Biot-Savart's law. So let's start. In Denmark, almost 200 years back, a scientist called Ørsted, Hans Ørsted, did observe something very important thing. He did observe that if we have some battery connected to a wire and when we allow current to pass through any conductor, there is some magnetic field produced around it. Now, how did he observe it? So it was actually serendipity, means it was not pre-planned experiment. He was doing something and he observed this thing that whenever the switch is on, whenever you have current passing through any circuit, the needle, magnetic needle placed around the wire was showing some deflection. So what he observed was that suppose during this clockwise direction of current, if you have some direction of rotation, deflection of the magnetic needle, the direction of the deflection changes if you change the direction of current. So compare these two figures. What is the difference? Now I am passing current in anti-clockwise manner. And what will happen now? Now the deflection of the needle will be opposite. So that was his observation. Now uh, he could not give any uh, quantitative idea. What he observed was that any current carrying conductor produces magnetic field around it. Secondly, he observed this thing that direction is important. What did he observe about that? The direction of magnetic field depends on the direction of current passing through the conductor. So if you change the current passing through, sorry, direction of the current passing through the wire, the needle was showing deflection in opposite direction. So that was the Ørsted's experiment and his observation. But as I said, what is the limitation here? This is uh, this part. This part is qualitative explanation that if you pass current, there is magnetic field produced. But if you are asked how much is the magnetic field, no explanation was given by Ørsted. He just expressed what he observed, but he could not give any formula or any mathematical relation between current and magnetic field, that if we double current, how much is the magnetic field or what is the direction exactly of magnetic field at given point. So no mathematical explanation or expression was given by Ørsted, and that task was done by a pair of scientists, Biot-Savart. Now, though it is written as Biot-Savarts, it is pronounced as Biot-Savart. Okay, this is how we read it. So, what this scientist did, they gave idea about how to determine how much is the magnetic field. So suppose if I have a current carrying wire, say this is a wire, and say current is going in this direction, say current is I. So I ampere current is passing through the wire, and I want to determine uh, say magnetic field at some point P. Say here is my point P. So how do I determine? So the scientist said that first of all you will have to consider a small part of the wire, and it is called current element IDL. And with respect to IDL, where is the point P? So say the point P is at position vector R. So the law says that magnetic field at point P due to the current element can be given as mu 0 by 4 pi IDL cross R by R cube. What is IDL? IDL is called current element. What is R? R is position vector of point P. R is position vector of point P with respect to the ideal. So the moment you go to next current element, R will change. Okay. And what is mu 0 here? Mu 0 is called permeability of vacuum. So if you have other medium, you should take mu, permeability of whichever medium you are considering. But normally the medium is air or vacuum, so mu 0 is considered. And how do we determine direction of this magnetic field dB? So that we can find out using right hand screw rule or right hand thumb rule. So that is the Biot-Savart's law. See, dB is the magnetic field, mu 0 by 4 pi constant term, IDL cross R by R cube. Okay, and cross product can also be written as IDL sine theta. Okay, you'll have R by R cube, that will give you R square in denominator. So that is Biot-Savart's law. And one more thing here we should be knowing is that whenever you have magnetic field going inside the plane of this page, it is indicated by this symbol, and if magnetic field is coming out of the plane of this page or board, it is indicated by dot. Okay, so otherwise we are very much comfortable with positive x direction. We show it like this, negative x direction we indicate by this arrow, and similarly we have positive x and y, sorry, positive y and negative y axis also, but this is something we may not be very much familiar with. So wherever you see dot, you should understand that you are talking about magnetic field or whichever vector uh, is acting outside, and if you see this symbol you should understand that the quantity you are talking about is going inside. Okay, so don't forget it. Now there are three laws actually which are having their relation is 1 by r square. Three laws we have in physics in which the distance dependence is as 1 by r square. And I am sure you know all the three. One is Newton's law for gravity. What is Newton's law for gravity? It says that gravitational force F is g m1 m2 by r square. So what is the relation of gravitational force and distance? 1 by r square. Then you have Coulomb's law. What it says? that force between two stationary charged particles is F is equal to K Q1 Q2 by R square. Look at the relation. F is proportional to 1 by R square. And now you have one more where magnetic field is found out, and it is given as mu 0 by 4 pi IdL cross R by R cube. Now actually this R by R cube, when you evaluate, it is R by R cube, that is 1 by R square. So dB is proportional to 1 by R square only. So all these three are considered as inverse square laws, very famous laws in physics.